All right, hi everyone. My name is Brian. I am here with the 1170 RapidColor Package Pro solution. We are going to be doing a demo today of two different boxes, one flattened and a to-go box. You'll see a little bit later. But to start, let's go ahead and take a look at the system as a whole. So you've got our feed table over here on our right that transitions over to our conveyor with our 1170 print head. And then finally, everything falls into this delivery tray right here. The system does include a computer that we have underneath, as well as the software to run everything. And it does actually include a 6-foot table. For our demo, I don't know if you can tell, we're actually on two different tables, but this does include one 6-foot table that runs all the way to hold everything. We just have a little bit set up different for multiple demos for other stuff. But for today, this is what we're really looking at, so why don't we go ahead and look a little bit more in detail of what we've got. So this is our feed table, right here. This is 24.5 inches wide by 24 inches long. It does include these two magnetic paper stops right here. I'll explain what those do here in just a moment. And the height, it just runs flush right up to this conveyor, so you've got a smooth transition for larger items such as this box. And what do these do? Well, it also has something to do with this spot over here. So you can see over here on the conveyor, we have got our guide rail right here. So there's a screw or a nut right here, and then there's one right here. You would loosen either of these up, and then this actually telescopes back and forth. This, coupled with the magnetic paper stops here, they can act as a backstop. So that way you can take your box or whatever it is that you're wanting to print and run it right up against there, so you got the same position each and every time as you hand feed these boxes. While we're over here, well, let's go ahead and jump over to the conveyor a little bit more. You can see this belt right here. It is perforated, so this is a vacuum-based belt. We are going to be running the vacuum on this demo. You don't always need to run the vacuum or the air. It really just depends on the substrate that you're using. But for this one, we are going to run it. So let's go ahead and take a step back, and we'll kind of look a little bit more at the entire system. So again, this is the conveyor that it's running on. This conveyor runs at 18 inches per second. The print head that's mounted above can do 11.7 inches wide on up to 36 inches long for your image that you're printing. The printer itself is an HP FI1000. It is CMYK. It is an inkjet printer. It uses cartridges that load right here in the front. Let me shut that. Each cartridge is roughly about 235 milliliter for those cartridges. One of the main points with this particular system, though, and really the benefit that we're seeing, is this has 10 inches of height adjustment. So this head, based with this wheel right up here, and you're going to see this a little bit more later in the demo, this has up to 10 inches of height adjustment, so you can put various size boxes underneath, fully assembled. So this can be your end-of-line printing if you need to. To kind of go back just for a second too, a little bit more about our ink. This is an Aqueous-based ink, which is nice because when this runs, once it comes off, it is not going to smudge or run off a little bit. It's also resistant to water splashing. With boxes, you're going to be out in the elements shipping. You may be dealing with some food. So it's nice that you have that ink that's not going to run if you introduce moisture. So I really think that's about it as far as the conveyor. There are some of the controls right here that we can kind of look at a little bit. So as I said, we do have our vacuum. We have got variable speed as well as your on-off. You've got variable speed for your belt up here and on-off. And then you've got your setup and run mode. You'll see the setup and run mode a little bit later in the demo too. You keep it in run, obviously, when you're running and printing, but you can flip it over into setup to independently control either of these on-off for the belt or for the vacuum to get stuff set up. And then you got your system on-off as well, and your e-stop. So Then let's go ahead and take a look here at the end. So here's your delivery tray right here. So everything's going to fall in similar to how we had it down at the end. It does include some of these more paper stops, magnetic paper stops. I've only got one on this one because the cardboard that we're going to be printing on is so wide. We actually don't need these extras that are on the side, but they are there with the system. So let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and take a look at the artwork, or I'm sorry, the artwork in the software. I'm sorry. Let me go ahead and get zoomed in a little bit so that way you guys can see just a little bit better here. All right, so this is our primary software that we're running to run everything. To kind of give you a little bit of an overview, this is what I like to refer to or think of as our canvas. Right now it's set to original. It's basically reading the size of the PDF. So this PDF is 21.5 inches wide by 7 3/4 inches long. So that's the same as the canvas size. Within here, you can actually take and rotate this artwork however you see fit to fit it onto your substrate. And then you can move it left, right, up, and down to fine tune and get everything exactly positioned where you want it. Moving down, you've got a print all or arrange. In some cases where you may have variable data, perfect for packaging if you've got addressing that you're doing. You can actually bring in a multi-page PDF into here and then choose the range in which you're printing. Whether it's you just want to print a specific range, or perhaps you need to go and do another print and start at 500 rather than 0, you can do that here. Then moving further down, you've got our quality control as well as your paper profiles. So the quality here and the paper profile here coincide with one another. So right now you've got your two options of 12 by 600 or 12 by 1200. Your 12 by 6 is your production, and your 12 by 1200 is your high resolution. Those match with the production here would go with your paper profile of 300, and your high resolution would match with your 600 right here. There are other profiles that are included with our systems. These are proprietary or they're developed for us. They include things like coasters, koozies. There is craft, so that you may have some boxes that have craft coloring that you want to take into consideration. It's going to help with both absorbency and color production. Jumping over here then, we've already kind of talked about your media size. Again, this is original, but you've got other sizes that you can put in, including making your own if you would so want to or wish. And then you've got ink density sliders here. So if you happen to notice that maybe the substrate isn't as absorbent as something else, you could go ahead and just drop this down a little bit to help with that. Or maybe it's running a little bit cool and you want to back that off, then you can just independently adjust your cyan, your magenta, or your yellow, or black too. And then finally, you've got your Preserve 100% black, which is basically going to print just your black and not do a process black. It's just going to do a spot. So that's really it in a nutshell. So let me go ahead and get our wide angle set back up here for us. We are going to go ahead and print this. So first of all, I'm going to go and take our cardboard and get it into position. So I'm just pushing it up against those two backstops. We got it there. I'm going to go ahead and press print. So it's going to go through a slight clean cycle, and then these lights will illuminate and tell us when it's ready. And we'll just engage the vacuum, press print, and we'll take a look at this. All right, so we do our vacuum and print. All right, so here is our print. Let's go ahead and assemble this. You guys can take a look and see what this looks like. And we'll see how quick I am to get this ready for you guys. A little picky, but there we go. All right. We'll go here. And there is our box. Let's it together. And you can see how incredibly accurate, if you look at the baseball stitching along the sides here, how close you can get that. So that is printing on a flattened box. Let's go ahead and change it up a little bit and do a to-go box. Let me get one of these and put this into position. All right, so I'm going to go back here and just lift up the head or the printer to get this into position. So basically what I'm going to do is just put this up against, and I'm going to put just a little bit of pressure as I'm raising this up until I know that it's cleared. So basically a good rule of thumb is you want this print head to just kiss the surface of whatever it is that you're printing. All right, and I'm going here and a little bit more. All right, I think that's good. I think that's good right there. Maybe I'll go just a little bit more. Yes, okay. All right, so that's in a good position. So I'll go ahead and come back out front here. And then I'm going to go ahead and loosen up both of these and bring our guide forward just to kind of give me something. What I like to do is really center this on the belt so that I know where it's at. The best rule of thumb is there's a center point here that you can go with. And that looks about good. So let me go ahead and get that about where I want it. Tighten that down. Make sure that it's still centered. Okay, that looks good. All right, now, one thing to note too, we are going to be printing right here on the box. If I don't make any adjustments in the software, it's going to print right on this edge right here. So what I want to do is actually delay that with our TOF sensor, which is right here, so that the printing doesn't immediately happen when it triggers, but rather it takes place over here. So that's the next thing that I'm going to be doing here. All right, so I'm going to go into my software. And I know that I previously had a setting of 37,900, and this new setting that I measured before we ran was 44,800. So I'm going to apply. And basically, again, what that's doing is it's delaying the print to allow enough of this area to pass by before it starts printing. So, you know, this is a live demo, so I eyeballed this, but I'm pretty confident that we got it about where we need it to be. So let's go ahead and get that and pull this up and press print. Just need to find it here. Okay, sorry about that. It was in a different area. I didn't realize. Okay, so we've got everything printed here, or set up rather. I'm sorry. So let's just press print, and we'll see how I did without really running this anymore. If we can, I'll show you a little bit of the setup too, if we need to, depending if I didn't get this lined up or not. Right. All right, so I'll run my vacuum, press start. All right, and then there is our next box. Now, from the looks of it, it looks like I might want to move it a little bit this way, but that's actually a physical movement rather than anything in the software. I could do it in the software too, but for eyeballing it for the first time, that looks pretty good to me. So there is printing on a pre-assembled box, again, up to 10 inches of height adjustment. We did our flattened box. And again, this is the 1170 RapidColor Package Pro solution. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out at postmark-usa.com. Thanks for watching.